Every time we give it all, we feel the flame eternally inside us.
Lift your hands up to the sky. The morning comes us to live in harmony
For all time, hand in hand we stand all across the land.
We can make this world a better place in which to live. Hand in hand we can
Start to
understand, breaking down the walls that come between us for all time.
hurry on. Hand in hand we stand all across the land.
We can make this world a better place in which to live.
Hand in hand we can start to understand.
Breaking down the walls that come between us for all time.
Hurry on.
Breaking down the walls between us. Breaking down the walls.
Close the book, bow, and go.
Beautiful work. Good afternoon, parents, guests, Mr. Blair Hagel, our chair of the Board of Governors, faculty, with a very, very special welcome home to Mr. Steve Kerr, who is with us today after some remarkable surgery. And our grade 9, 10, and 11 students. My name is Andy Rodford, and I'm the director of the senior school and deputy head of school. And I'm honored to welcome all of you to the senior school grade 9, 10, and 11 closing assembly. And thank you very much for this wonderful celebration of our students, your children. Before we do anything further, this is one of my guilty pleasures as a former student who had to wear a blazer. I welcome all of our students to remove your blazers. It's not that hot this year, but remove them nonetheless. It is my pleasure to begin this afternoon by inviting Mr. Bob Snowden, our head of school, to pass along his welcome and message. Mr. Snowden.
Thank you, Andy, and welcome to everyone to these closing ceremonies for grades 9, 10, and 11 for the school year 2016-17. Some of you, both students and parents, have been at the school for a number of years. Some of you are lifers, having started in kindergarten. And some arrived just this past September, and this is the end of your first year. Today I wanted to share some brief thoughts about where we've come from in a small way and where we're going. The spark for these thoughts was some reflections that I had a few days ago as I thought about our accreditation visit next fall. In November, SMUS will undergo its next accreditation, which we do every 7 years or so. As part of our National Organization of Independent Schools, we're required to do this. This will be our third in the last 16 or 17 years, and we were the first school in BC to sign on for this, and so we have the most experience with it. Our school seeks the excellence in all of us. SMUS understands that a student, any young person, is a complex being, and no other person, whether a parent or even a teacher, can identify what strengths or gifts lie underneath the surface that we all see. Broad opportunities, therefore, are part of an excellent education. Almost all the students in this room are touched by our grade 10 program, the experiential year. Experiential education is more than getting out of the classroom, and it's more than learning by doing, although these simple things are part of it. Experiential education, well done, is structured. It follows a pattern of having the experience, reflecting on it, doing some critical analysis about it, and then synthesizing the original experience into new knowledge and new experiences. I want to recount an experience I had to illustrate. A number of years ago, it was my habit to join one of our classes or one of our groups on their out trips in the fall. And a number of years ago, I was involved in, or I signed up for, a trip with a group of grade 10 students. It was a kayaking trip. And this kayaking trip was at the beginning of October. At the beginning of October, the weather is uncertain. But if you're on a kayak trip, you know you're going to get wet anyway. At any rate, we put on our wetsuits, which is normal, and left from Sydney, which if you don't know it, it's north of Victoria, about 25 minutes, and paddled out to Rum Island. Rum Island is about as far as you can go into the Georgia Strait before you cross the boundary into the U.S. It's a very small island. It's a marine park. So we got out there and we set up our tents, and sure enough, the first night it rained. But as you know, in this particular location, you just have to wait a little while and the rain stops and the sun comes out. And so the second day was a lot better. That night we had a night paddle, and it was a very clear night. And if you've ever been out in the middle of the Georgia Strait, it's dark. And so when you have a clear night, it's fantastic. And the water was smooth. And within about 300 or 400 yards, we all realized that every time we dipped our paddles into the water, there were these swirls of bioluminescence following the paddle. It was memorable and it was magic. And I happened to be with about four other students at the time in a small group. And a couple of them one of them asked, well, what is this stuff? And there were a couple of students who knew what it was. And so one of them said, well, it's bioluminescence. And started to explain to the student who didn't know what was happening how it occurred. And he said there are these little organisms, these protozoa in the water. They're called dinoflagellates. I remember that word really clearly because I have no idea what a dinoflagellate is, but it just sounds fabulous. At any rate, one of the other students said to him, no, they're not dinoflagellates. Dinoflagellates occur in tropical waters. And the first student said, well, actually, you're not right. There are versions of them that occur here. And so there was this debate back and forth. Here we are in the middle of nowhere with the stars and the water and this luminescence swirling, and everyone's playing with their paddles and so on. And the other two students clearly didn't know what this was all about. And so they started to ask questions. And for someone like me who has lived with education all his life, it was a wonderful moment of learning. At any rate, we had that, we continued on. When we got to the other side of the island we were paddling around, we were out a little further from shore and there wasn't any bioluminescence. But a cruise ship came around one of the other islands. And then another one came around, and then another one came around. And they were 3 or 4 kilometers distant. But if you've ever seen a cruise ship in port here in Victoria or any other port, they're brilliant, they're all lit up, they look like they fit into the middle of a city. But as I've described this particular night, it was clear, you're in the middle of nowhere, and these cruise ships appear, and it must, in centuries from now, when people see spaceships coming out of the dark sky, it must be like that, because you had this incredibly brilliant cruise ship coming around the corner, followed by another, with very few other lights around. And we all marveled at this because it was incredibly quiet. You couldn't hear them. About 2 or 3 minutes later, our kayaks just lifted up about 15 feet and then went down as the wake of the first cruise ship passed through our little flotilla of kayaks. And about 5 or 6 seconds later, these huge waves, about 15 feet deep, crashed into the shore. And then we waited for the next wave from the next ship. Well, it never came. Likewise, the third one, it never came either. So, being with bright SMUS students, one of them said, well, that's because the first ship was an older ship, and it didn't have that bulb at the front that stills the wake. And then one of the other students said, well, you got to be kidding. How does a big bulb at the bottom of a ship create anything but more waves? Well, then there's a discussion of how fluids flow and the way that little areas of pressure are created in front and lack of pressure behind and so on. And here we are again, out in the middle of nowhere, having a discussion about physics, and students are asking each other questions, and they couldn't care less if they were right or they're wrong. They just wanted to learn, they just wanted to have the answers. At any rate, obviously for me, this was memorable. And I am confident that for those students who didn't know everything about the experience we were having, that it was also memorable. I'm confident about that because I ran into one of them about a week later, and I asked him if he remembered the bioluminescence. And he said, oh, yeah. In fact, I'm going out there with my family next week to show them. So, as you may know, bioluminescence isn't necessarily predictable. So I hope they did, but at least he remembered. The point of this is that the experience was a learning experience, and these lessons delivered intelligently in this nighttime group were organic. They came out of the experience the kids were having. They were real and they were memorable. This kind of learning can be done, and it can be repeated. And so to go back to my mention of our experiential year in grade 10, we are trying to imitate, mimic, and echo this experience for our kids in grade 10. We piloted our experiential program for 6 years before we implemented it across the grade. And we see it now lighting fires of learning in the students that gather in their various groups. And this past couple of weeks has been just a flurry of activity across a whole swath of areas of study, and it's been exciting to watch. I mentioned our CASE accreditation. Our national organization is called CASE, which is a visit that happens next November. And that experience is similarly experiential. Simply put, we take the experience of our recent years, we reflect on it ourselves among the staff, we produce an internal report about our reflections, we do a critical analysis of what we've been doing for the past 5 or 6 years, and then we invite a team of educators from across the country who come in and examine what we're doing. once we get their feedback, we rework the current reality of SMUS, and we build its renewed reality, the future of SMUS. We practice what we preach. One of the points I make when we go through this process is that Socrates said, "The unexamined life is not worth living." Well, so the unexamined school is not worth having. Excellence is not a one-time thing, it's a habit, it's a practice, to paraphrase Aristotle. And it's a very important part of our mission. In pursuing our mission, I thank and acknowledge the men and women who teach our students, Mr. Rodford, and our committed and dedicated teachers. A few of these men and women won't be with us next year, having been here just for 1 year, or they are taking a leave. Scott Dawson has been here this past term teaching math. Megan Story has been a counselor for us for this 1 year. Lawrence Wong and Sean Zhang have taught Mandarin for this past year on 1-year appointments. Allison Higginbotham, math teacher, will be away next year on maternity leave. Terrence Young, English teacher, is taking a leave of absence to pursue his writing. Mike Jackson, science teacher, is taking a leave of absence to pursue his science. And finally, Kira Ogle, who is in our Learning Resource Department, will be away on maternity leave. I thank you all for the work that you have done in educating our students. Obviously, I think education is a wonderful passion. It has been my life, and it has been the life of my colleagues, your teachers. To the students, please do explore all that the future holds. In the words of the school's vision, to learn, to lead, to serve, discovering the promise in ourselves and the world. And have a wonderful summer. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Snowden. Ladies and gentlemen, this afternoon, each and every student from grades 9, 10, and 11 will be recognized for their respective strengths, contributions, and accomplishments, whether these are in academics, athletics, the arts, leadership, or service, or as in the case of many of our talented men and women in this school, all of the above. For those of you who are new to the school, every student at the senior school receives a record of achievement, which contains a student and grade photo and lists academic achievements, sporting teams that a student has played on, service and leadership initiatives, along with any other extracurricular activities in which the student has been involved. These will be handed out to students by their homeroom advisors at various locations around the school following the ceremony. Each grade also has its own collective accomplishments. So in addition to handing out a record of achievement to each student, a selection of grade 9, 10, and 11 students will share with us highlights along the way and will be treated to some creative contributions from several students from all 3 grades. A true celebration of the year. So without further ado, I'd like to invite Sophia G., Will Kinahan, Josh Mao, and Denisa Ospan to the podium to begin the celebration of our grade 9 class.
Hello and good afternoon, fellow students, teachers, staff, family, and friends. We have finally reached the end of a very exciting and eventful school year. As our first year of high school, we have firsthand experienced the trials and tribulations of being freshmen. For example, having to put away the chairs after almost every assembly. Although, I can confidently speak for everyone in grade 9 that we've had a wonderful year. This year, there were numerous accomplishments throughout the year in areas such as arts, athletics, and academics. In the area of athletics, this was the first year for many of us to be put into a highly competitive sporting environment where no longer everyone received participation medals. However, with our highly talented athletes, we were able to excel at numerous sports such as basketball, soccer, track, field hockey, squash, rugby, and rowing. Going to Smooths, I'm incredibly grateful for the opportunities I'm able to receive. Our teachers, staff, and coaches are outstanding. I'm very thankful to attend, and I'm very thankful to my classmates for such a wonderful year. Have a wonderful summer, and Vivat.
For many of us grade 9s, this was our first year at SMU. Personally, I anticipated difficulties finding good friends, imagining that there would be a lot of time needed to adjust. I thought it would take forever to fit in, and that it would be hard getting used to the kilt every day with those brown hall benches. Contrary to my preconceived fears, SMU proved to be a very welcoming community. In no time, I became one of them and embraced the culture, traditions, diversity of the school. Walking into SMU, I immediately felt the spirit surrounding me. But what is school spirit exactly? Is it the uniform we wear, or is it the cheering that supports us during sporting events? It is all that, but it is also the doors we hold open, the smiles as we pass, the memories we share, and the heart-wrenching goodbyes we are facing at this moment. School spirit is the foundation of this community. It is always in the air and supports us through any hardships. It is the positivity of the students and faculty that gives us pride in our school. The people here inspire each other with their enthusiasm to learn, to succeed, and to make life-changing experiences while creating strong friendships. The bonds between people from all over the world make SMU a diverse place like none other. Despite living a very different life, I have found so much in common with some of the boarders. Me, a city girl by the ocean, best friends with a small-town ski racer from the mountains. Friendships like ours can be found all over the school, between classmates, roommates, and teammates. The ideas assembled by different minds change individuals into a team. The amazing creativity that can be found at our school enables us to make dreams a reality. SMU is all about staying focused on academics, giving it 100% outside of the classroom, creating strong friendships, and inspiring others. For us grade 9s, it was only the beginning, but we are starting to live up to this expectation. Thank you.
In terms of music and arts, the grade 9s had a fantastic year. As soon as the year began, many grade 9s were rushed into the musical spirit with everyone looking sharp. On top of sports and academics, the musical kept many grade 9s incredibly busy, but sure enough, it was definitely not a drag time. In the end, the grade 9s put on a great show. We could have not done it without the wonderful actors and actresses on stage and the musicians in the pit orchestra. Before we could get a rest, we had the cross-campus band and strings concerts, and we definitely did not fall flat of a great performance. With our great performances this year, we will definitely have no trouble with next year's musical, Catch Me If You Can. Congratulations to all the grade 9s and their excellent performances in arts this year. Thank you.
As my peers have stated, this year has been exemplary, but I want to take a different approach to our school year. On behalf of the grade 9s, I want to say thank you. Thank you to the janitors who clean up our classrooms in which we undergo our treacherous training every day, always making quite a mess. Don't believe me? Just ask our teachers and our mothers. On that note, thank you, parents. As teenagers, we don't often say, I love you, or thanks enough to our parents. But when we were late for a sporting event, or we needed a study partner for our exams, evidently, it was our parents who were there. Now, as great as our parents are, there are definitely some things they cannot teach. French. And that's where our teachers come in, pushing us to be better and aspire for more. So for all the teachers and faculty that keep our school community so strong, thank you. By now, you've guessed the theme of my speech. 2 words, thank you. From Mr. Snowden keeping our school running smoothly for over 2 decades, to our loved ones funding us to continue our education at St. Michael's, surrounded by the best group of faculty and friends one could ask for. Shout out to everyone who contributes to making every school year at SMU one to remember. Thank you.
Thank you, Sophia, Will, Josh, and Denisa. Fantastic words. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Denise Lamarche. I'm the Director of Academics here at St. Michael's University School. At this time, we will be presenting our major awards to recognize excellence at the senior school. The recipients of these awards have been selected through a thoughtful and intentional process that involved all senior school faculty and administrators. There are 2 awards at the grade 9 level. The Commander R. Dyson Cup is awarded to grade 9 students who exhibit a passion for school through demonstrated involvement and initiative by supporting established programs and by helping to enhance and strengthen our community. I'm inviting the following recipients to the stage to receive their certificates from Mr. Snowden. Please hold your applause until I get through the list. Stephanie Gantz. Tina Yang. Come on up. Sung Choi. Angelina Chandro. Susie Stone. Will Kinahan. Kenzie Farish. Max Nishima. And Sasha Skoronsky. Congratulations. Congratulations, and you may return to your seats. The Chapman Cup is awarded to exceptional all-round students in grade 9. These students have performed at an equal level in the areas of scholarship, athletics, fine arts, leadership, and character. I would like to call upon this year's recipients to the stage to receive an award from Mr. Snowden. Mark Finnemore. Sophie G. Boris Lee. Amy Look, and Margot Leggett. Congratulations. Well done. There will be an opportunity for photos at the end of the ceremony, so no worries. Go back to your seats. Thank you. Now, I would like to call upon Boris Lee, Sung Choi, and Hank Liu for a special performance of Bach's Double Violin Concerto in D minor.
Remarkable. Thank you, Boris, Sung, and Hank. I can't deny that when the kids do, always when they do the tiny bit of tuning at the very beginning, that I secretly inside just want them to launch into a hoedown. It just feels like it's ready to. It never happens. And that was beautiful. And I want to congratulate again the grade 9 class. Well done, everybody. I'd now like to invite Will Berry, Pretender Dylan, and Morgan Warner to the microphone, who will share some thoughts and insights regarding the year in grade 10.
Hello, everyone. I'm Will. That's Morgan. The last couple weeks have really been a whirlwind as everything wraps up for the end of school. And as I was packing up for the end of the year, putting my 6 pairs of shoes that I thought I would use this year into my box for next year, it felt like I was packing a full year of life into the storage tubs. And while putting memory after memory into that box, I lingered a little longer on a picture of me at the start of the year at my out trips. Grade 10 is a great year for experiential education, as Morgan will talk about. But I looked at the picture, and I saw I was wearing a sweater that I've since grown out of, surrounded by people that I now know scarily well. And I thought how much progress we've made, how much the grade 10s have changed, where we started, and where we are now. Education, after all, is about growth, and St. Michael's University School embodies that like nowhere else I've attended. Anyone here, grade 10 or otherwise, think about where you were in September. What were your opinions, your ideals? What did you accomplish? Hopefully, you can say that they've changed, that you've changed. And I'm thankful to say that for me and my peers, we can say that we've changed since September. I've learned how to be around people 24/7, how to take calculated risks, and how to manage money when nobody's tracking how many smoothies you'd buy. As Mr. Snowden leaves a huge change behind him, I remember what he said in his retirement letter. All human organic things, schools especially, evolve. And that evolution is not only inexorable, it also leads to a richer, more enduring iteration of that organism. So it will be with SMU, and so it will be with all of us. We'll change and grow. And it's important to recognize that it took more than a few people to get us here. To all the teachers this year, thank you for caring. It's something I've noticed with every teacher at SMU. They truly have a passion for teaching, and it shines through when they come in for extra help, give personal advice, or spend time discussing extra concepts with us. This year has also been exciting in student life. It's hard to ignore all of the talented musicians, artists, and actors that have brought us so many incredible performances and pieces this year, and I'd like to thank all of the mentors who made them what they were, as well as our athletes who excelled in their fields and on the fields, and their coaches for building them into the successes that they could become. It's comforting knowing that next year I won't only be greeted by my 6 pairs of shoes and trying to find a way to use them that year, but also by familiar faces and a tight-knit group of individuals who, like the school, will continue to evolve and grow. Thank you.
You know, you gotta love someone who will dare to look at your face even when they've seen the worst of you. And those are what we call friends. People who think we're still a good egg, even though we're slightly cracked. Here at SMU, being the tight little wonderful community we are, you make a lot of friends. At least I'm sure you do. Being in boarding, there are people you didn't know you'd end up loving so much. People so different from each other, but still sharing so many things in common. We've made lifelong friends, and perhaps, if you will, lifelong family. Because through the tears, the laughs, the sun-kissed days and the rainy ones, we are with each other, always. So bittersweet would describe this ending. We won't see some of these people for a very long time, no matter how dear. Goodbyes are hard, and maybe that's why some of us sort of hide away from each other at this point in the year, because we all know the heartache we feel as our friends will be gone. Goodbyes are also hard because they mean we won't ever see them again. So instead we say, see you later. You will be missed, and please do visit, because I know
you'll miss check-ins, room cleans, and reach forms one day. So thank you for being with us, laughing with us, singing with us in chapel, crying with us, and joining us for just a portion of our lives. We'll see you later. It's true when we say boarding is an incredible journey, but this journey, this adventure, wouldn't have been possible without the help of some very important people. Mr. Driscoll, an amazing contributor to boarding life and even student life. His work is so important that we almost wouldn't have anything if we didn't have him. Always with a smile on his face and a hello in his mind, we thank him. We'd also like to recognize Mrs. Pantis, who works extremely hard doing what she does. I find it hard to believe that she has time to take a breath. So thank you, and thanks for all the cookies. Thank you, house parents, for all you do. I mean it. You're always there for us. And I wouldn't be wrong in saying that sometimes I do appreciate Sunday check-ins, just so I don't sleep all day, letting my whole day go to waste, just like I did Saturday. No homework. Miss Benfeld also does so much, organizing house games, Saturday activities, and because without her, we could forget the thrill of wanting to win House Cup. So thank you. Thank you, Sodexo and the maintenance staff, for all you do. I mean it. I really do. Because Brown Hall can still provide a pretty good waffle bar. And for all those who contributed to this blissful year, in this home away from home, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Before you lock up your office, pack your last bag, and wish everyone a good vacation, just remember to remember us. Have bright, new, happy experiences, just like I've been fortunate to have in this lifetime, and make new friends. However, keep the old, because one is silver, and the other just may be gold. Thank you.
I see and I forget. I hear and I remember. I do and I understand. That was the inspiration for our year. As Mr. Snowden explained it, our grade 10 program runs with a large emphasis on experiential learning. This year, we spent a collection of days outside the classroom focusing on true hands-on education. These days, outside the class, showed us skills that one cannot acquire sitting at a desk. There really was not an experience that wasn't open to us. I mean, just to name a few, we learned to make crepes, drove motorbikes, trained for triathlons, became photographers, took self-defense classes, spun pottery wheels, and so much more. Recently, to cap off the program, we all went on week-long pursuit trips that pushed us to be immersed in first-hand learning. Once again, we were provided with a variety of options to choose from, all experiences that were once in a lifetime for most of us. Personally, I spent my pursuit on a camping trip in Strathcona Park, where, on top of practicing proper wilderness survival techniques, we also had a deep focus on creativity and its impact in our lives. Not only was my particular trip absolutely fantastic, but I've heard nothing less from any of the others. In our changing world, hands-on, experience-based education is necessary to be able to develop adaptable skills for our futures. Knowing this, I can say that all of us grade 10s did our best to get as much out of it as we could. We'd like to thank everyone involved in the creation and leadership of the program. We'd like to thank Mr. Daly, our spirited grade coordinator. I recognize Mr. Geddes for putting his heart into ensuring that this course was a success. I can promise that because of everyone involved, our grade 10 year is surely one to remember. Thank you.
Thank you, Will, Pretender, and Morgan. Sharing the perspective of your year with us was very well done indeed. I would now like to present the major awards for our grade 10 class. There are 2 major awards at grade 10, and we have multiple winners for both. The first award is the Considine Cup. This is awarded to individuals in grade 10 who meet the criteria as an exceptional student with an equal emphasis on scholarship, athletics, fine arts, leadership, and character. I invite the following recipients of the Considine Cup to the stage to be congratulated by Mr. Snowden. Leni Getty, Anna Considine, Wilson Yee, and Karina Morales. Congratulations. Well done. Congratulations. The second award is a Student Council Award, and this is awarded to the grade 10 students who exhibit a passion for school through demonstrated involvement and initiative by supporting established programs and by helping to enhance and strengthen our community. It is my pleasure to announce the following recipients of this award and invite them to come up to be congratulated by Mr. Snowden. Will Berry, Julia Henry, Nathan Yang, Isabella Leong, and Morgan Warner. Congratulations. Our athletics banquet was held last Wednesday, and traditionally, we recognize the junior male and female athletes of the year at this event. However, this year, they were on their outdoor education excursions, and so the winners were unable to receive their award. We would like to recognize Lucas Bosley and Zoe Lott as the junior male and female athletes. Come on up, Lucas. While Lucas is here to be congratulated by Mr. Snowden, it's not surprising that Zoe is involved with high-level softball and is at a tournament today, so she's not here, unfortunately. Congratulations, Lucas. At this time, I would like to invite Stephanie Gans, Boris Lee, Tommy Liu, and Noah Garson to the stage to perform Canon in F by Pachelbel.
Thanks, Tommy, Stephanie, Noah, and Boris, and well done, and well done again. I was just reflecting when Preet was talking about the fact that we're not to forget anyone's face or to always remember them. And I have to tell you that Preet was the person that introduced me to face swapping. Anyway, that's a whole other story. But I have the face swap picture of the two of us that I sent to my mother, saying this is what I do for a living, and she was excited to receive it. And not having been a great person on the computer, she sent it to her entire contact list around the world. So, and I've been getting Preet and my face sent to me over and over again from all over, so I have a feeling that I'll always remember Preet. Congratulations to the grade 10 class. I would now like to invite Jessica Wang, Candy Lee, and Ivan Wang to the microphone, who will share some reflective thoughts and insights regarding the year for grade 11 students, soon to be referred to as the graduating class of 2018.
Hi everyone, my name is Jessica Huang. I know most of my peers will agree with me today that it has been a very tough year. We all had our challenges, whether it was cramming for tests and projects all in 1 week, hiking through the snow while winter camping, or balancing our time between musical rehearsals and team practices. However, it is important to remember all the amazing achievements we have been able to accomplish this year. This year at SMU has been a time of exploration. I know each one of us have continued to explore our passions and push ourselves outside of our comfort zone. And as a result, we have all grown more mature and strengthened our relationships with one another. Being a part of the Outdoor Leadership Program this year was an opportunity to get out of my comfort zone. I will admit, the arduous winter camping trip wasn't exactly the winter wonderland I'd imagined. My initial excitement quickly faded by the 3rd hour when I had to hike with a bag I could barely lift and had blisters on each foot. But looking back, it was an extraordinary experience. Spending time in the outdoors allowed me to develop stronger bonds with my peers outside of the school environment and learn the importance of perseverance and teamwork. This year, I was also involved in the pit orchestra for the musical Ragtime. My time at the theater marked one of my most memorable moments this year. I was overwhelmed by the sense of community and positive energy from everyone working collectively to create a spectacular production. Teamwork is an essential component that enables each of us to thrive in any area of interest we decide to pursue. It always amazes me to see how my peers are able to come together to foster supportive community in the classroom, on stage, or on the field. Our compassion and spirit make any challenge we set out to do together a rewarding experience. Combined with the endless support from our teachers and parents, we are able to achieve anything we set our mind to. Next year, as our last year at SMU, I know each of us will continue to challenge ourselves, build a united community, and foster friendships that will continue to grow even as we move beyond high school. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Ivan. Returning as grade 11 students back in September, I was very excited about the upcoming year. Not only because I knew this year was going to be a very packed one in terms of academic, leadership, and extracurricular activities, but also because it was going to be a year of growth. It is unique because we are taking on more responsibilities in school, in boarding, and we are exploring more of our potential by attending various activities that our school offers. If I were to come with the theme for my year, I would say it would be growth. To begin with, I experienced growth in the connection between students and staff. For instance, I participated in many activities that our school offers, such as playing on the golf team, organizing the volunteer club, being a part of the boarding activity council, and working in the service leadership council. Through these experiences working with others, I found that the support from our teachers has been phenomenal. Thank you. This is very important because whenever and wherever I go on campus, I recognize familiar faces and can deliver a smile or receive a positive interaction. This is what keeps me motivated. This is why I love our school, and this is what creates a sense of community. The 4 pillars in our school are courage, honesty, respect, and service. Since my first time studying at Smooth 3 years ago, I have been adopting the fundamental meaning behind the pillars in my life, inside and outside of our school. I believe these 4 motivating traits can bring us enormous benefit. In our school, I joined the service leadership, and run the volunteer club. We act to create a positive environment inside our school and in the community. I learned from our school service model that volunteering increases life satisfaction and helps us feel good about ourselves because we're helping others. Volunteering engages students with the community, creates special bonds with the people being served, and increases social awareness and responsibility. And volunteering helps us enhance our personal knowledge, grow from new experiences, and develop better interpersonal communication skills. Our responsibility grew from helping others and seeing ourselves as global citizens. This year at Smooth was amazing, and I can honestly say it has been the best year of my school life. I believe our next year will be filled with exciting possibilities that we earn to take part in. For all the future grade 12s, courage will serve us well. When we are slowly moving into university and moving out of our high school life, to take responsibility, to embrace the world. Thank you, guys. Thanks.
Hi everyone, my name is Candy. The grade 11 year passed by extremely quickly. I can still remember in grade 9, my friends were telling me how this year was going to be the hardest one yet. Well, here we are. Looking back at the year behind me, I would like to share some of my thoughts on this hardest year of high school. Trust me, it is not as bad as they say it is. As said before, this year has been one of personal growth. I've done things that I never thought I would be able to do, and I think that all of us have stepped outside our comfort zones at some point. Whether it was putting ourselves out there to apply for one of the formal leadership positions, or performing at various school events, such as Keep the Beat. For me personally, some of those instances include going on a service trip to Africa, hosting the provincial candidates from our riding, and even this, standing up here. All of these amazing experiences have taught me something in some ways, and I think that they are well worth the risks of stepping outside of our comfort zone, working towards extending the boundary of that line a little further at a time. I hope that I can say this on behalf of our whole grade. It has truly been a year of extraordinary growth, but we are in no way done growing yet. None of what we have done would have happened without the support from our school community, and I'm extremely grateful for the sense of community that I found at Smooth. After helping organize Smooth Talks, which was a speaking event that featured student and alumni speakers, I said thank you far more times than I could even recall. I was overwhelmed by the amount of support that we received. I want to tell those of you who have thought of doing something but had doubts or fears, go do it, make positive impacts. And of course, a huge thank you goes to all of the parents who are always by our sides or just a phone call away, and who unconditionally support us through our highs and lows. I'm excited, truly, honestly, unequivocally excited for the year to come and the challenges that lie ahead. Because I know that whatever life throws at me or throws at us, the entire community here has got our backs, and I hope that you feel the same. Thank you.
Thank you. Jessica, Candy, and Ivan. Such profound messages from our students, and it's so nice and lovely to hear them say thank you and talk about the lessons that they've learned. So similar to grade 9 and 10, there are two major awards for grade 11 students. The first award for grade 11 is the SMUS Alumni Association Award. This award is to recognize grade 11 students who have shown exceptional leadership. Leadership at SMU recognizes 5 practices of leadership: modeling, encouragement, innovation, inspiration, and enabling others as they are shaped by the SMUS pillars of character: respect, service, courage, and honesty in the pursuit of truth and goodness. It is in this spirit that I would like to call upon the following students to come up and be congratulated by Mr. Snowden. Samina Makan Betajiava, Candy Lee, Jaiwan Chen, Sishi Wang, Macy Waymar, and Matthias Honish. Congratulations. Congratulations, well done. All right. The final award to present is the Lifer Award. This award acknowledges exceptional all-round students with an equal emphasis on scholarship, athletics, fine arts, leadership, and character. I would like to call upon the following recipients to receive congratulations from Mr. Snowden: Aisha Emerson, Sean Finnemore, Sarah Perlmuter, Maggie Helmke, and Sarah Cue. Congratulations. Congratulations to all our major award winners. You may have your photo taken at the end of the assembly with respective trophy with your parents. To wrap up this portion of the ceremony and get us into the mood for summer, a group of band students from grades 9, 10, and 11 are going to now perform What a Wonderful World.
Thank you again. That was delightful. And congratulations once again to the grade 11 class. So before we conclude quite literally with a song and a prayer, I would like to offer one challenge and two thank yous. To the students, there's an old saying that suggests it's in the uncommon endeavor where the amazing is discovered. The grade 10 students have experienced this firsthand over the year in their expeditions and pursuits. However, it goes without saying that all of you have heard from more than one of us over the course of the year, urging you to stretch your comfort zone, get involved, try your hand at leadership or service, engage in a new sport, join a council, and never to sit idle. You are the benefactors of each new experience you try, and everything you do during these years will set you up with the skills, the confidence, and the connections to the real world that you'll need to help negotiate and hurdle on your journey through, and let me try that again. Negotiate any hurdle on your journey to discovering yourself and the world you live in. So when you return in September, be ready to try new things and to step outside of your comfort zone, as this is a time in your life when this may be the most positive thing you can do for your future. This will be your challenge, and we will hold you to it as part of our promise, both as a school and as a faculty. Now to the thank yous. Thank you to the parents for supporting your children and for working in partnership with our school. Thank you to the faculty, staff, board members, and our parent auxiliary volunteers for your dedication and commitment. And thanks to all of you for sharing this wonderful afternoon together. And here's the final thank you. In 1995, none of the students in this room were alive. Google didn't exist. The average house price in Victoria was a measly $200,000. The Grateful Dead announced their breakup. The Macarena went viral, infecting wedding receptions for years to come. And Canada narrowly averted the separation of Quebec. 1995 was also the year that Amazon sold its first book. eBay started. DVDs were created. Starbucks unveiled the Frappuccino. And Toy Story became the first ever entirely computer-generated film. Needless to say, 1995 was mixed with tribulations. However, it was an era that initiated some of the more influential and long-lasting achievements in recent history. I would like to suggest that Mr. Snowden's 22 years at SMU is undeniably parallel. He joined a school that was experiencing challenges in 1995, and seeing nothing but opportunity, shaped his vision into the shared mission that he quotes frequently, and that hangs in nearly every school room in the place. Then, through his leadership, tenacity, and with boundless support from Mrs. Snowden, he inspired growth, enduring achievements, and the student-centered educational community that we are so proud to call our home away from home. Mr. Snowden has stated on several occasions that his retirement celebrations should be low-key and public celebrations kept to a minimum. But what's he going to do, fire me? It's too early to do a mic drop, so I just got that's a pen drop. He humbly states that accolades from his time at SMU come from a team effort. In fact, these are the same thoughts shared by Phil Jackson, the Story NBA coach who, with the most combined championship credits to his name, who said, "The strength of the team is each individual member, and the strength of each member is the team." With that said, I might be so bold to suggest that Mr. Snowden is SMU's Phil Jackson. Players have come and gone. However, his belief in the vision, the mission, and the collective power of each individual within his team has allowed our modest coach to quietly shape SMU into a world-class school that is well prepared for an ever-changing years to come. Therefore, as the benefactors of his 22 years at the helm of the SMUS ship, please join me in a resounding thank you to Mr. Snowden and his much-loved teammate, Mrs. Snowden. As we move to the conclusion of this ceremony with the school song and closing words from Reverend Fletcher, we would ask that all the major award recipients please stay behind for photos. And we welcome grade 9 students to move to the small gym to collect your ROAs, the grade 10s to the quad near the Christine Duke Theater, and the grade 11s to the Crothall Center Quad. Finally, for me, have a well-deserved and rest-filled summer holiday. And now, with the talent of Kevin Zhang on piano, please stand and join together in singing the first verse and chorus of the school song, followed by Reverend Fletcher.
Standing. Let us pray. Gracious God, we give thanks for all the members of this learning partnership who together create experiences that are memorable and magical, encouraging us to change and grow. So our thanks for the parents and their auxiliary, for members of the faculty, the staff, and the board, for our head of school and his dear teammate, and of course, we give thanks for our frequently insightful, occasionally irreverent, and continuously inspiring students. In particular, we're thankful for moments this year, those organic moments of uncommon endeavor, where amazing things were discovered, both about ourselves and about the world around us. Through these moments, we as individuals experience something more of our promise. May these experiences feed our desire to stretch ourselves regardless of age, pushing the boundaries of who we are so that we begin to glimpse who we might become and what our world's future might hold because of it. For all the varied ways that each of us contributes to this collective learning endeavor, one that indeed makes life worth living, we give our thanks. So we pray, Amen. Now, go enjoy your summer. Vivat!